Daisies.live. This is Scott, and I'm here with Shreya and Maral. And Maral just got done falling all over herself in love with Rocket Boys. Sounds like it's an excellent series. It's on Sony Live. Check it out. Excellent writing, excellent acting, great story. You're going to love it. And we have an announcement. Shreya.
Yes, something else you should be in love with is this show. This is Red, White, and Brown by Daisies.live on Radio Zindagi, 1550 AM.
You're watching us. आप सुन रहे हैं Red, White, and Brown को Radio Zindagi पर Daisies.live show में 1550 AM पर.
All right, and we are going to close our show today with a series that is currently streaming on Hulu. And it's based on a book, a very successful book with a completely different name, if I'm not mistaken.
Six Suspects.
Six Suspects, yeah. On the series is called The Great Indian Murder. And I will Maral, why don't you give the overview, and I'll jump in with the overview.
So the 30,000 feet story is the fact that there is an industrialist called Vicky, what's his name? Vicky
Rye.
Vicky Rye. And he is a spoilt industrialist. He's a Casanova, and he's murdered at his own party. And his enraged father, who happens to be an influential politician, calls for a CBI inquiry. And this brings in two detectives, Suraj Yadav, who's Pratik Gandhi, and Sudha Bharadwaj, Richa Chadha, to solve the mystery. And with 6 guests as their main suspects. Well, this crime drama is based on a 2016 novel called Six Suspects by Vikas Swarup, who actually had also written the 2008 Oscar-winning Slumdog Millionaire.
Mm-hmm. So, as it often happens when you adapt I haven't read the book, so I don't know if it's a good book, a great book, a pretty good book, but what often happens when a book is turned into a movie or a TV series is that a lot of people, especially readers, people who are readers first and watchers, movie and TV watchers second, they say that the book was so much better. I suspect the book was better. I did not hate this show, but there were some significant problems with the show. It was a little all over the place. And when I say that, I mean, like, one episode would have one feel and one sort of momentum with the characters, and another show would veer off in a different direction. Even though it had the same director, it felt like I don't want to say completely different, but it felt like a very different show. It was, so the way to summarize that, it was quite uneven. It was 9 episodes. Each episode was between 40 and 48, 49 minutes, and the episodes were very uneven. The acting, so we saw a range of acting. Some of it was quite impressive, some of it was not. It did not really feel like, I'm having a hard time. It didn't really feel like a murder mystery, like a whodunit. Because of that sloppiness, because of that uneven tone and uneven storytelling, and a little too much emphasis on this character and maybe not enough on this, and introducing characters at weird times. I just felt a little lost as a viewer. I just felt as if it was cavalier, a little careless, a little sloppy, a little uneven. I did not, some of the characters, I'm not saying I disliked them I'm not saying I disliked the acting. I'm saying I thought the characters were annoying. Like the one character who thought he was Mahatma Gandhi. He was,
who had DID.
Yeah, that was just a goofy, just goofy. And you could tell that some of these things might have worked in a novel, but they just didn't work on film. So that is, I think, the introduction to my, anything else I have to say would be a bit redundant, because it all fits in that same category. That unevenness, kind of sloppy, kind of too emphasized here, not emphasized enough. One episode I liked very much was the one where, let me take a step back. There were some some interesting themes going on, but they didn't quite feel like murder mystery themes. Like the guy, there was one theme that I think was quite strong, was the theme of colonialism. The idea that there's that island in the Indian Ocean. I forget the name. There's
Andamans.
The Andamans, yes, and someone steals
The god.
a god. I was going to say a fetish. It's a god, and all of a sudden bad things start happening, and once someone is tasked with leaving the island and going to try to recover the god.
Icky.
And it was in itself, it was an interesting story. Like, I enjoyed it. It was a quest. It was an interesting, but like, it just was way too, like, it was too much. Like, other characters who were suspects in the murder, there wasn't as much time spent, or it was dispersed with other characters in that episode, because each episode focused on one of the suspects, or many of the episodes focused on the suspects. So it was, that one I liked very much, and the one with the character who thought he was
Muna.
Gandhi was just not that.
Yeah,
The
I
character
like
with
Muna and Icky the most.
yeah, those characters were much more interesting than the others. So what did you think, Moral?
So this is what I thought. This guy, Tigmanshu Dhulia, who's a co-writer and the director of the show, he has a history of writing, of directing movies where crime and business and politics all mingle. So he's tried to do that a lot. This is because this is a story about crime and politics and
Corruption.
how money and corruption and how money flows. Right? And even the CBI officer is corrupted. So, and how that does, where
Completely
I think,
totally corrupt, like not even like 100% corrupt.
That actor Pratik
He was great.
Gandhi,
He was good. Yeah.
brilliant. So between all of this, I think where I thought it was the most disassociative was the fact that there are these subplots going on while the main plot is unraveling, and we're trying to figure out how much worse is this guy, Vicky Rai. He's bad. We know he's
Terrible
a
human
bad
being.
guy. But then the unraveling of he was worse than we thought he was, right?
Yes.
But then there are these subplots going on. The way the subplots unraveled made it very haphazard. It was
Yes.
chaotic.
Yes, exactly.
That's because he starts with current story, and then the shift in frame happens
Oh,
to
the
backstory.
flashbacks. Oh my God, the flashbacks.
That just was so annoying.
Confusing. Yeah, it was confusing too.
Annoying because, hey, give me the backstory first. Lay out all your characters, because now you're going down each character's path one by one, and then in the last 2 episodes you try and bring all of them together to tell us how they all kind of were all there. Why were they at the party? So we come to know why they were at the party and the motivations in the last 2 episodes, but that's too late. That is too late. You've led the viewers down a very chaotic path already, because we go down the DID guy's path, then we go down a Katie story, then we go down the story of the guy who was with the Katie, who also had a grudge, and then we go down Muna's story, and then the sister's story, and then of course the woman who's just sleeping with everybody.
I was just going to say, let's not forget her, because I didn't.
And then of course the actress also. So basically there are these plots upon plots, and the actress is, basically she doesn't have a plot after a few scenes. But this other woman, I don't know, she has a very short plot, and that's also taken care of. So then we're left with 4 main characters, which is the Katie, the guy with the Katie, Muna, and we're left with the guy with dissociative disorder, which where he thinks he's Mahatma Gandhi, and they're trying to figure out, was he Gandhi when he killed him, or was he not Gandhi when he killed him? So between those 4 stories and their backstories and the enmeshment of all of that, it is pretty exhausting, because sometimes you lose track of, oh my God, what the hell?
And then there was the podcaster. Remember him too? There was that guy and his girlfriend. Remember the girlfriend who worked for like the Indian equivalent of the NSA, and she let him tap the phones, and then he would do podcasting about it, and like he was in there.
That journalist.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's just.
what was that? It was a journalist who was a podcaster.
What was
How
that
come figure it out?
exactly?
Really?
I know. It was just confusing. And it was like, so listen to the words we used. We used the word chaotic and haphazard. I used the word uneven, confusing. It was, I think that is that little mini word cloud right there perfectly sums up the problem with the show. I mean, there were times when I thought, oh, that's really cool the way they got all the characters to mesh together. Okay, but by then I either didn't care or I was so confused that it's just, it's just messy. It's just a messy show. I mean, it wasn't the world's worst. It wasn't terrible, but it was not nearly as satisfying as it could have been.
Yeah, and it was just too long. They could
Agreed.
have
Agreed.
literally done this in 5 episodes, and we would have been happier. It would have been a better tight knit story. They didn't.
It
have
would
to
have
write so
forced
much.
them to tie up all those loose ends and get rid of the stuff that didn't work or was unnecessary.
There's a lot of superfluous things going on, and,
Yeah.
and that's what made it very chaotic. There were too many characters, too many backstories, and their backstories just was exhausting going down the life stories.
Yeah, I think that's fair. All right, so what are we going to listen to on our way out?
On our way out, we're going to listen to Bacha and the song Jugnu. Starting it right now.